that shit. Stop that. Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know.
I made a post and basically told Roach. He tagged Lamont Roach and he said, look, you're not getting that fight with Tank.
A day in the life of Gervonta Davis as he prepares for Jake Paul is nothing but focus, discipline, and hard work. Every session is built around sharpness, speed, and power. From intense conditioning drills to sparring rounds, Davis remains locked in on his mission. Each workout is a reminder of his determination to prove he's ready, leaving no space for distractions. Rolly Romero adds perspective, noting that Tank's legacy is already secure, regardless of the outcome. As a world champion with major achievements, Davis doesn't need to prove himself against Jake Paul. Still, Romero admits Jake's natural size is a factor, but it doesn't erase the respect Tank has already earned. Paulie Malignaggi emphasizes that experience always outweighs size. While Jake Paul has grown in both popularity and physical presence, Malignaggi insists that nothing compares to Tank's ring IQ, adaptability, and years of fighting elite competition. For him, boxing skill and experience ultimately decide fights more than physical advantages.
Paul might be too big for him, but like Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or as an exhibition, we don't know if they throw at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
You know, some people trying to give, that's fair, some people trying to give Tank a hard time. They're saying he should have took a fight with Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson. But when you think about it, do you think this is business and look, he's getting a bag, or is there some validity to people saying that he ducked Roach?
I mean, there's still other options, you know. It's bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or all that stuff, right?
Teofimo Lopez views the matchup as more spectacle than sport. To him, it's about entertainment and money, not legacy or rankings. But he still believes it benefits boxing by drawing mainstream attention, even if it feels more like an exhibition.
He's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. Yeah. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you, you can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah, but if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jim, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still has?
Nate Diaz cuts through the hype, dismissing the fight altogether. In his eyes, the matchup adds nothing to either fighter's career and is more show than sport, closer to staged entertainment than real competition.
And I'm actually very happy for Gervonta and Jake.
I really am, man. It's good for the sport in some way, you know?
So a heavyweight versus a lightweight.
Yeah.
You got a fly hit me, yeah. A heavyweight versus a lightweight. How's this gonna work?
Hey, they make it work. It's an exhibition for a reason. So, you know, they know what they're doing. And, you know, shout out to Netflix and shout out to both of them, honestly. Like I said, I think a lot of people in the boxing world are kind of upset. I could care less. I think they're going to go out there and make their money. It falls on the number 8 for a reason. They're going to make a lot of money.
Have you got a prediction for that fight?
My prediction? A show.
Well, clearly it's a show, but when you've got a lot of people underestimating Jake Paul once again, but when you've got a heavyweight boxer who knows how to throw punches and knows the basics against a lightweight, it's quite a difference. I mean, have you sparred heavyweights before?
Yeah.
Competitive sparring in the ring?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, not at all. Definitely got to move. I've actually played around a few times, went through between their legs just to duck around. But yeah, because they're taller, you know. But I think for that competition, that fight, it reminds me a lot like The Big Show, and Floyd Mayweather when they fought in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And will that end the same way?
Possibly. Maybe some brass knuckles in there too.
Can you see Jake Paul knocking out Gervonta Davis?
It's boxing, man. And if it's a show like this, anything goes, anything happens.
Jeff Mayweather echoes Diaz's skepticism, questioning the logic of putting a proven champion like Tank against a YouTuber-turned-boxer. While he acknowledges the business side, he considers the fight odd and unnecessary, reflecting the confusion many traditional boxing fans feel.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think.
He's just too small.
It's just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think. My thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. What do you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE. So
right.
Like, at least that's happening and getting something to talk about, something to watch. And
KSI, with his own experience in influencer boxing, explains Jake Paul's promotional tactics. He says rumors of Paul fighting heavyweights like Anthony Joshua were never real, just hype to stir attention. The Tank fight, he argues, is another calculated move to build buzz rather than chase serious competition.
Weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight.
Jake's trainer BJ Flores takes a different stance. He believes Jake's natural future lies at cruiserweight and heavyweight, but sharing the ring with Tank boosts Jake's profile massively. Flores views this fight as a stepping stone that opens doors to bigger opportunities down the line.
I knew AJ and Jake was never going to happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was actually going to happen? Well, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like so many people just believe everything.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like I know. Well, okay, how do I say it like this? Itoma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White winning. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? You just look at a record and go, oh, Dylan's fought many more people than Itoma. That record says a lot. Itoma's like 18, not 18, Itoma's 20. Inexperienced, round one. Like, I just knew Itoma was gonna just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Itoma would be him and Wilder.
Journalist Gareth A. Davies is far less forgiving, calling the fight a circus that sacrifices credibility for spectacle. He warns that mismatches like this threaten boxing's integrity. though he admits controversy itself generates buzz and drives business.
So one of my good friends, Armani, he has been working with Jake Paul for the last 2 years.
Oh.
There was a little time where Shane wasn't there with Jake, and Armani called me up and said, "Hey BJ, will you come down to Big Bear and spar with Jake?" And I'm like, "You want me to spar with Jake?" I'm thinking to myself, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, he's beating up all his sparring partners. We come, I was like, all right, I mean, fine, I'll go down there and do it. I have been inactive. I haven't done anything for like 8 months, but I was like, okay, I'll go down there. So we spar a couple times. After that, they decided I was too big for him, and it's better if we just not do it. And, then they asked me if I would be interested in like working the mitts with them and helping him with the combinations, because I was hitting him with some combinations they hadn't seen before. And I said we can teach him all those things and have him doing all those things. And so I started working the mitts with him and helping him out on the mitts. And he told his trainers and everybody, they're like, man, I want BJ around for the entire camp because I'm getting better. My job is like Shane does the advice in the corner and I do the mitts.
Vargas Jr. takes a lighter view, saying the unpredictability makes the fight exciting. For him, the shock factor alone creates intrigue, whether fans see it as good or bad.
Panning into the fire because we thought we were going to get Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua very soon. We'll speak to Frank Smith about that in the next section, obviously. Eddie Hearn was teasing it to me personally last week. £80 million on the table for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul. But 8 inches in height difference, 7 weight divisions between them. 5 stone, 70 pounds between them. It's a joke. It's a circus fight as opposed to a disgrace of a fight, which was Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. At least you feel in this you've got quite a poor, very big one against a pound-for-pound, brilliant, unbeaten little un. And the little un who'll come up to his navel will hit him with a lot of body shots. I said in the week to Danny Kelly and Charlie Brooker that, do I mean Charlie Brooker? No, Baker. Charlie Baker. That Charlie Brooker's a different person altogether. That he'll be throwing the Superman punch, the leaping left hook. It's going to be a very odd thing. It's called, in inverted commas, an exhibition bout. But everybody in boxing who is a name doesn't mind going in with Jake Paul because they know they're making millions of dollars. And that's the only reason that Gervonta Davis, who's being called the poison little elf by Jake Paul, and it'll be fun in the build-up. Everybody in boxing knows they're guaranteed to make millions of those silverbacks, those greenback notes that they give out in America, and they give them out for fun when Jake Paul fights. So he's not going to say no to it. But can you pick a winner in that fight?
I don't want
Wade Plem argues Jake Paul has injected fresh energy into boxing, drawing younger audiences who prefer spectacle over tradition. While purists complain, he sees these fights as necessary for boxing's cultural growth. In his view, Jake versus Tank continues that momentum.
Dress or, this generation, as far as like fighters, they relate to more who's more popular. That's why we're seeing the Jake Paul versus Gervonta fight, which is, that's crazy to me because we would never see that. And, back in my dad's day, but now we're getting this and it's just like, fuck it. I mean, people are going to see it, bro. So it is what it is. But whether people know him more or not, or me, it doesn't matter. I know that he's coming and he's coming game and he wants to make a statement as well. So we're just coming to interrupt those plans. This is boxing and, I'm so excited to demonstrate my skills. I could box, I could counterpunch, I could bang when I want to. And I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm going to do what I want to do in there. Come September 13th.
Yeah, we spoke about this a little bit earlier. But it's a 10-round fight. Could be a different pace of a fight. But what do you think is like the key for you to get this win, regardless if it's a knockout or if it goes all 10 rounds?
I think just be smart. Be in there, be smart, be first, and do what I do. I think if I try to do a little too much, like my dad says, when you try doing too much, it looks you're trying too hard. So only thing I got to do is just come in the best shape possible. If it goes 10 rounds, then it goes 10 rounds. We're doing 12 rounds of sparring, so if it needs to go to 10 rounds, we'll have the gas tank to go. I don't know if he's gone a full 10 rounds. I haven't, so it'll be something.
Analysts point out that Jake gains the most exposure, credibility, and money no matter the result. The fight also shifts opportunities in the sport, Tank's commitment to Jake delays other matchups, like a Lamont rematch, but also opens new doors for fighters elsewhere. This highlights how crossover fights reshape boxing's calendar.
Circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I should see money involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not. You got a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds? Just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do to get money, to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much.
Would Lamont Roach Jr. go from here? I mean, he's got options. He's got options. I mean, that young kid, Kamel Moton or Moton, is calling him out. He ain't gonna do that. He's only 19. Floyd's young fighter. He can wait for the winner of Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes. I mean, Floyd Schofield's out. Options is what I'm trying to say. And then look, does he want to go down a weight? Does he want to go down to super feather? Let's not forget, he's still a belt holder in that division. I mean, O'Shaki Foster's there. Stephen Fulton is now in the division. We saw Raymond Ford on the weekend. Sorry, weekend. When was that fight? 2 weekends ago. So there are options out there for.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Stay tuned for more.